Welcome to another episode of Cocktails with Carly and Toks Ogun. I am Cocktails with Carly.
And I'm Toks Ogun.
Hey, we got a guest tonight.
Just like every week.
Welcome to the show, Dax. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate you
Yes.
All right.
So, Toks, how was your weekend?
My weekend?
Yeah, your weekend.
No, it's chill. I was a little bit under the weather, but
Yeah.
I'm all good.
You doing better?
yep.
Good.
Had a whole thing of orange juice. So
Okay, good. I still hear it a little bit, but it's okay. Oh,
that's just effects on the vote.
shout out to Trav in the back for making sure Toks' vocals are all together and right.
You know what I mean?
So, Dax,
What's up?
where you from? Tell these people
Africa.
where you from.
Liberia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where
that's
else?
it, from the motherland.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people don't know about the motherland, but I'm from the motherland.
Nice.
I came here, with a plan and opportunity, and I'm executing both of those,
I love
right
it.
now.
I love it. So how long have you been in the States?
I've been in the States, I would say, my whole life with the exception of up to 8 years old.
Okay, so that's fair. So you go back and forth
I go
all
back
the time.
and forth. Yes, I do.
So tell us, because I've never been to Liberia.
Okay.
I only heard about it in Michael Jackson's song.
Well, what is it that you want to know about Liberia?
So you tell us, what is Liberia like for people that have never been to Liberia or even out of the States?
Let's see. The best way I can describe Liberia and or Africa would be
Okay.
Think about having or just being dropped out of nowhere and having no parents. Liberia is like the nucleus of where black people, well, I wouldn't say Liberia, Africa is the nucleus of where black people from all over the world.
Oh, wow.
So at the end of the day, you got some kind of route that'll trace you back to that continent.
I love it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that.
So
That's beautiful.
That's
So
cool.
one of the things that sometimes I think we forget to mention about Africa is like it's such a blessing to go to a country and everybody's black.
yeah.
Yeah.
From the lowest of the low all the way up to the president, billboards, TV,
That's
radio,
beautiful.
just all black, and it's almost like you almost take it for granted.
So I've always said this as well, right? When you grow up in an environment like that, which I did, and you are to see all steps of life black, it changes your perspective on what you can perceive and what you can take on in your own personal life. So for me, I've kind of had that embedded in me from day one. But for a lot of black Americans who are here to be in a market or a continent in America, that most brands' life is either split in or another nationality. Right?
Yes.
They don't get the same perspective. So that's
Right.
why I encourage a lot of people, take a trip if you can back
Yeah.
to Africa.
Yes.
Not on no vacation, hang out. Just go a couple of times, and where your heart takes you is where you're going to start building.
Ah, I
Definitely.
love that.
And then my second favorite thing is, when you're used to living here, you kind of get soft.
Okay.
In what regard?
Yeah.
In the regard that, one, everything for the most part works. You can call anybody, get service.
Oh, you get a little spoiled.
You get spoiled.
Okay.
And so when you go back to Africa, whether it's Liberia or Nigeria, you see people doing amazing stuff with like barely nothing.
Hey, man, let me be honest with you. People in Africa are rich.
No, definitely like
Rich.
No,
Drivers and servants.
definitely guaranteed rich. But then
Yeah.
even the people who are rich are a lot of times paying 1.5 times whatever that thing actually cost
Right.
to either get it in the country, get it especially because a lot of things are imported.
Yeah.
And so you understand that people are really like, when you say people are hustling, people are really hustling.
They're
And there's no
hustling.
excuse either. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you don't get to say an excuse. Hey, you know what? The power doesn't work, so I'm not going to go to work or I'm not going to do my business. You still have to get everything that you have to get done,
And that's true.
even despite the lack of infrastructure.
That is very, very true. But that's the thing that I'm talking about. It teaches you to build,
Yeah.
right? And for me, I've got the perspective of Africa and America. So I can see where America put a lot of rules and regulations in terms of things that you can't do without the government.
Right.
In Africa, you can go out and just fly a drone. In America, right, you got to have a license now to do that.
Right.
To
See what
fly
I'm
a
saying?
drone?
So, yeah, well, I'm giving that as an
Okay.
example.
Okay. Because that got
Right.
interesting.
So,
Really interesting
yeah,
to me.
you have to build. Like, you'll build a lot in Africa. But once you build, you fall in love with this journey of
Yeah.
building. And here, in America, like a lot of people who have had success will tell you, it's the journey that you fall in love with. It's not the outcome so much. So that's one thing that I'll tell you right now, Africa give you as a positive, you know. So
It's so funny. Some of my friends that are from Nigeria and even Cameroon, they'll say, Carly, if you go, you will never want to come back.
yeah.
And I'm just like, well, what is it? Take me. Like, what, you'll have drivers and you'll have, you know, maids and and I'm just like, really? So I'll be like some real coming to America stuff over here.
No, it's true. Like, you know, we have drivers there, we have maids there, you have a lot of things to help you. You have babysitters, you have like, in some countries they don't even work on Sundays, you know, and so like it's shut down. You see, when you step out the U.S., you realize how fast like and how far in advance like the U.S. is. It's advanced so far that it's kind of messed up the traditions of like creating like a basis for people to live.
Right.
It's going even faster.
Yeah, and it's going even faster.
Yeah.
Now we're in like a dog-eat-dog world type situation. Right. You know, for some of us who've lived in like, I've lived also in like L.A., New York, right? It's such a fast-paced thinking situation.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But when you step into countries like that where they're like, hey, listen, you know, on a lot of things shut down at a certain hour.
Yep.
Or, hey, we don't work as hard on Sundays. Or, hey, you know, everybody's out of here. It's vacant at a job. It's only Monday through Friday. At 5 o'clock, people are really out.
It's like a different appreciation for life.
Yeah, it changes perspective because people now value culture more so than just the working, kind of the worker bee mindset.
I would love to be in that environment for a while.
Well, shoot. You get
It'll
there.
test you.
Yeah.
It'll
definitely will. Yeah, you know.
Oh, yeah.
It'll probably be that one Sunday I'm like, I'm ready to eat at this restaurant. Why isn't it open?
So they'll be like, hey, listen, you know, that light is going to go off in about, you know, at 6 p.m. So
Right.
You're going to figure it out from there. So
Exactly.
But there's a lot of luxuries, you know, that come with the country that we're in, which is a good thing. But at like in places like Africa, you get to value a lot of stuff that you don't value. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. Yeah.
And then the other thing that I also love is that because you can't really rely on the infrastructure and, like, let's say the government so much, you have to rely on your personal relationships.
You do. But guess what? The biggest relationship is you.
Yeah.
You building. Mm-hmm. See, sometimes people, when I was there, I'll give you a great example. I, of course, am in the same entertainment business. I shoot, edit, produce, et cetera, et cetera. So if I was relying on somebody else to produce what naturally I could create, then guess what? I was kind of like crippling my ability to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So if there's something that you can do and you can minimize how many tentacles that you need to do it, just go do it.
Right, which makes complete sense.
Just go do it. That's the life lesson. Sometimes we think we need so much when honestly, do it. Go see your first product and then build again and then build again. Eventually, you're going to become the influencer that you've been looking for.
Right.
So that's how Africa's built. Yeah.
So, Dax, you mentioned that you were in the entertainment industry.
Okay.
How long have you been in the industry?
I think I'm closing up on 20 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what part of the industry are you in?
I am in management. You know, I've produced content before, sold films. I used to work at a film funding company, you know, prior to all of this. And then I got back into television, you know, and I've been in television now for, probably 15 years. 15 going on 20 years.
So what is?
I just had a question because I'm always curious about that. You know, anytime you read that such and such celebrity got a deal from Netflix or what, are they giving them cash, or is that like, we'll fund your project, or because they'd be like, okay, such and such got a deal for $100 million.
Well, it depends on the level.
On the level,
of the
okay.
person. Right. If we're talking about Denzel Washington, yes.
He's probably getting cash.
It's just like
he's not getting cash, but I mean, there's a wire transfer going on. So
okay, so it's like, Denzel, here's $100 million. Tell us whatever you produce.
Yeah, if he's getting a deal, he's getting a deal. That's it. He's worth it, man. If you're A-lister, you're A-lister. That's just what it is. You know, it's kind of like saying you got a Michael Jordan in the game, you got a Larry Bird of the game, you know, and that's it. You're not gonna half Michael Jordan's pay. You're gonna see him.
Yeah, and if you really want the product and the person, like you're not, you have to pay to play.
And that's it. So if you're dealing with these guys, you know, they're big players in Hollywood, and so they earn every dollar and they make every dollar back. They're big players. Perfect example. That's it. There you go. Yep.
Exactly.
Exactly. So if he asks for something, he can get it back. He's relevant.
His rider is serious.
It's-
Okay.
it's
And
serious.
if they cancel your deal, you gotta pay that money back.
If they cancel your deal,
Yeah.
and it's already gone through,
Right.
that's subject to the attorney.
Maybe it's a contractual agreement. Depends.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's when it gets a little bit, personal. I would say it's based upon what the client wants and what their agreement is, and actually what the attorneys can kind of put up. So
Gotcha.
that one I can't speak on in detail, but I'll tell you this:
Okay.
if they commanding $20 million up front, they ain't getting 19.5.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
Fair enough. Just trying to read behind the headlines because you read a lot of headlines and you have no idea what that means.
Are you guys keeping up with that Johnny Depp situation with his divorce? I mean, I'm not keeping up with it, but I do see it. And I mean, I'm seeing some of the inserts and I'm just like, gosh, this is cringeworthy.
why? Why do you feel like that?
Well, number one, it's televised. All of your intimate moments, all of your arguments and fights. Imagine if you present yourself to the world as a certain person, okay? And first off, I love Alice in Wonderland. It's one of my favorite movies with Johnny Depp. I just love Johnny.
Good job, Johnny Depp.
Yes.
Good job.
Ever since Edward Scissorhands, like, I just love
She's gonna be
him.
dropping that all day.
Yes.
Right.
Hey,
I'm gonna listen
Edward.
to her get through this little conversation, dropping about 7 movies,
Oh,
and
my
then we
God.
should be good. Yeah.
He's just, Jack Sparrow, yes.
Yeah.
But just to see him kind of go through, of course, when we see Johnny Depp, we see him as an actor. We don't know him personally, right? But we've fallen in love with this image and this character that he constantly perpetuates and plays and nails it, right? But to see him in court going through a full divorce and hearing like the audio from cell phones and text messages and everything, like, it's dreadful. And I really hate to see it, because it almost tarnishes his character and this person that we've developed and we've created. Like, Jack Sparrow is like getting his head bashed in by his wife. Like, what?
Well, I mean, that's who he is. His
And-
life is.
yeah.
That's
And I'll
who
say
he
that, and
is.
for me, it almost kind of like humanizes him because
Right.
Okay, that's fair.
sometimes people got a crazy wife, and
That's
just because
it.
you're Johnny Depp and you got a couple $100 million doesn't mean that your
He
wife's
just
not
seems
crazy.
so much more like calm and collected, and so much more of like just kind of like a real like.
Well,
I
he
don't
had
know.
to be. He was in court. If you did anything, you get arrested.
Let me tell you, one thing about it is, I'm going to say, although I love Johnny Depp, like,
Yeah.
he is totally in character. Like, he said, okay, I have to be the dandelion distressed husband. Nailed it. I mean, when I tell you, he freaking nailed it.
Because I've seen a couple of the clips, and what I'll say is that it looks like he is a guy who maybe kind of fell in love with a troubled woman. And so he's just
Yes.
trying to figure out, like, it's almost like somebody who has a wild teenager where you're just like, I love you, but I don't know what to do with you. Like, you're just
Right.
driving me crazy, doing this and that. And, everybody say, oh, why don't you just get rid of her? But, once you kind of, like, have bought into somebody and fall in love with somebody, it's really difficult to just be like, hey, you know what? And especially if you fall in love with that troubled aspect, you feel like,
You feel sorry for that
and
person.
you almost feel like, I don't want to abandon you because I feel
Right.
like
Everybody else
me
has
just
done
kicking you to-
this.
yeah, everybody's
Yeah.
done that to you, and I don't want to abandon you. And so, but you're still crazy, and I just don't know what to do. Like,
She's like kicking the door, manipulating the situation. Like, he said that he closed the door so he just wanted to take a shower because he was really tired. And she was at the door, banging on the door, and then he opened the door just a little bit to get something from her. And then she kicked the door in and he fell back. And he was just like, oh my God, I can't believe, she kicked
I'm
the
Jack
door.
Sparrow.
That's right. So it just really sucks to see him going through this because he really appears to be that type of person where it's like
The savior, yeah.
he understands the bad kid that he has that he doesn't want to abandon because everybody else has abandoned this adopted kid,
Well, there you go.
and and she's monopolizing on it.
But guess what? You're saying the answer and everything. Right now, it's not about the right or wrong situation. Obviously, we know at the end of the day, Jack Sparrow is trying to save a hoe. That's what it is. All right. So, and we're gonna sit here and we're gonna watch it. It's gonna be cool. Blah blah blah. This and that. If somebody needs to develop in a certain way, you cannot do that for them.
You cannot do
You
that.
cannot. You can give them the words, you can give them the
Right.
encouragement, but you have to decide how much of yourself you're looking to give
Right.
away during that time that has literally like no ending. You can't decide when the person is going to be perfect or grown.
right.
You don't
so
know.
You don't know. You don't know. So at the end of the day, and if it gets to the point where it's violent, Now eventually you're gonna have to protect yourself or pick up that same mindset to protect yourself.
Right.
So at the end of the day, you got to move. So Jack Sparrow was called upon, and when he didn't show up, Johnny Depp got his ass beat.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
it.
that's really serious. And you know what? You touched on something in terms of like violence and even relationships. Like that has become almost like the new norm, in my opinion. Like just seeing social media, you know, and just seeing like, oh, I grabbed her up and she did, or if he doesn't do this, I'm gonna, you know, do this to him. I'm gonna hurt him, or I'm gonna put hands on him. And I just believe like under no circumstances you should ever put your hands on anybody. But I also understand as a realist, like sometimes people do things.
And they will drive you.
And they will drive you to
and
kill.
they will push you.
And they will, get, you know, and
you
so
realize your shoes can travel without
right,
you
and you
taking
realize
the
that you can squeeze somebody real hard. I'm
That's
sure.
it. Squeeze, you
and
know.
so the squeeze is
That's
good
it.
because
and your
it
little
doesn't.
girl fist come up like this. I'm gonna hit somebody. And that's
So
it.
and you're
All
just
right,
squeezing
cool.
for your good life until
That's
it just.
it.
So the thing about it is, at what point, in your opinion, you know, and not that to say that you're this expert with
I'm not.
dealing with people
Look,
that,
I'm
but just,
drawing pineapple. I'm
Right?
not. Trust me.
right? So just, you know, to kind of tailor it even to like what you do in your career.
Okay.
When you see these artists and these
Okay.
men in entertainment that are faced in these relationships with women that can become violent or they become violent onto women, like what do you think is in their mind? Like what do you think they're thinking?
I think everybody has, first of all, a level of a response. Whether you're not God, okay? You can be pushed and something can happen.
And you
Right.
don't have full control
You
over
don't have full
yourself as
control.
much as
If you
think
stay
do.
in that place, something will happen. That's just the reality of it. So what I think you can do before everything is to try to shoot for somebody somewhat equally yoked with yourself. And when you find that, at least you can have some level of discussion. You can say, hey, we can talk about things because you will be dealing with somebody who's somewhat equally yoked. The issue is that a lot of these people aren't dealing with nobody that's close to who they are. And it's a
Right.
whole bunch of love by material things.
Exactly.
And as a result of it, emotional bondage starts
Trauma
because you've
bonding.
been around somebody
Yep.
so long.
Yeah.
Right.
And as a result of that, when things go wrong, you start reflecting trauma from your past
Right.
and you start putting it on that person. So I think when you're in that situation, unfortunately, you just are in the fire. You know, imagine if you're in the ocean and you're drowning. The only thing you can do is throw a life
Right.
vest to somebody. I
Right.
can tell you remove yourself,
Right.
you know, from it. But if you and somebody can't kind of see eye to eye, you got to get it kind of like a reset. You got to hit the reset button to where you can just talk.
I don't think
Right.
that those guys can, like, I mean, and we're talking about, I know you're in film, but
Yeah.
I'm talking about, like, even within the entertainment industry, I see a lot of these young guys coming up. They've got more money than they know what to do with it. They come from the
Yeah.
poorest parts of the city. And, you know, it's like, next thing you know, like, and I'm just going to say it, Blueface's girlfriend, all of a sudden they're together and she's got a tooth, and then all of a sudden they're not together and she doesn't have a tooth. Like, where did the tooth go? You know, like, what? And so then
It was fake. That's what it was. It was fake. It was fake.
Okay, we're gonna go on that.
It wasn't
But
real.
it's like, then she's like spilling all the beans, like, oh, you just did all this horrible stuff. You hit me. You put hands on me. You did, and then you're back with him.
But that's what I'm saying to you. Like, what foundation is really built on that? Like before you get to all the glamour stuff, the material stuff. Oh, you're rich. You got a car. You got this. You're an artist. This and that, and this. What's the foundation of the relationship? Do it really work? Do I know you? Do you know me? Where are you from? Who's your family
There's
members?
none
You know?
of that,
So
Dax.
if you don't establish a foundation, everything, it's like building you got a super nice house, man. But guess what? The foundation's cracked. And guess what? That shit's gonna fall next week.
At some
That's it.
point, yeah.
At some point, you're gonna have problems, real problems.
So then what's it like for somebody like, let's say, if we're going back to Johnny Depp for a while, like what's in it for him? I'm trying to understand.
Johnny Depp right now, just my personal opinion, you know, honestly, has to just sit back, listen, and politely exit himself out of relation or the whole relationship and conversation, because there's no explanation that's strong enough to soften that heart and to change that person. That's an internal thing she has to
Absolutely.
change. And until she does that, there's no conversation.
She is the definition of toxic.
Yeah. And who knows? There were things that, and what she'll do is react, and it may trigger things in him. And eventually, guess what? He's heading down the same line.
She's even been caught recorded. Like, there's a recording of her saying, "Oh, I'm this poor woman. No one's gonna believe Johnny Depp. So I'm this woman that I could tell them anything I want, and they'll believe me because I'm a woman."
Oh, there are recordings.
Oh, there is a recording of it.
Okay.
And
she's
so,
done a lot,
this is, I mean, we're dealing with two actors, okay? So this is very interesting.
Well,
but I think
she had the wrong words for acting on that one, right? They need to rewrite her script, right? So,
right.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's it.
I think what's hard for like a lot of people is just that, but everybody's looking at it like, you're Johnny Depp. Why don't you just go find another one of her, like?
Because there's the human aspect, like you mentioned. Like, there's the
emotional
He
bondage.
has real emotional.
Yeah, he cared about her.
Connection. He married her.
Yeah, he cared about her. All those things are natural things that's going to happen.
And guess what? Right. She didn't start off like that. So what happens when you're in these toxic relationships? Because I've been in one. Well, I think we've all been in one.
Yeah, a few.
Okay, I learned from my lessons, but no.
We're still learning.
But yeah, I'm still learning. So this is the thing. People present themselves as one way. Yeah. And you fall in love with that person in that light, that specific light, and anything that they do wrong, it's like you see it and you're just like, yeah, but you're still chasing that dream of that person that you were with initially.
You're chasing the dream of the person you were with initially.
Yes.
Okay, so here's my thing, right? If you went to college and you put in the time, can't nobody take your degree away from you.
This is true.
If you put in the time for somebody who's a decent person, right?
Yes.
Trust me, you create value.
Yes.
You know, value in this shit. It just, we stumble upon it. You're pretty, I'm pretty. You've got things.
I dance.
We dance. I take you home. I repeat tragedy until it turns into an issue in somewhat where we now are forced to kind of evaluate how we think. Truthfully.
But what happens is it goes back to kind of like what we said earlier.
Yeah.
People try to hang on to that because this is what happens like medically in relationships that are toxic. People are constantly hanging on to that initial feeling that they got. And they don't want to let it go because they truly believe that that feeling is still deep down inside.
Emotional bondage.
Period.
That's it. There's no way around it, right? Emotional bondage. If you have a wounded dog, right? And you stay with it long enough, you're going to have emotional bondage. Anything. It's a human, godlike trait.
At what point can a person like wake up from this dream and say, wait the hell a minute?
Well, I can answer that for you.
Okay, here we go.
When Barack said, hey, be the change that you want to see. You work on yourself before you work on anybody else. If I don't work on myself, right, I can't walk on
You're absolutely right. And the minute you work on yourself, it's like you strip yourself of the BS.
The BS.
And then you can see it for what it is. Correct. It's almost like saying I can't see. Correct. And then going to get an eye exam and then finally getting glasses because you never knew that you couldn't see. And then you're like, holy macro, I can freaking see. And you're fucking toxic.
That's it.
And I'm out of here.
Right.
Because you did the work on yourself.
And you got to be careful about getting advice from people too.
Yes.
Because the second part to this, the reason why I think sometimes bad relationships like that is prolonged is because people are still working themselves and then giving you advice. So they got the same issue.
And they're toxic.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
okay,
oh,
cool.
God,
yeah.
it's a goulash of toxicity.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. So I think at the end of the day, Johnny Depp is in a situation where, like I said, for the courts, he needs to find his way out in terms of the logistical way that he needs, the verbal approach.
Right.
For the purpose of the relationship, there's nothing he can tell that girl until she actually gets to a place where she's balanced for herself.
So you speak so fluid and fluently about this. So if we could just tap a little bit into your personal life.
Come on now. Come on with it.
Come on now.
Pineapple juice, I'm with it.
So you are married.
In love.
Ooh.
That's what you meant.
Okay. Wait a minute. You're
Love
a man.
doesn't.
You're a man in the entertainment industry.
In love.
And you are in love.
Yes.
And you are married, engaged.
I'm getting married.
You are on the brink.
Are you sure about that?
Of course.
Ooh, okay. with confidence.
Yeah, shoot, that's it. I put it all in, man. Hey, but before everything, what I did was I made sure that we were like equally yoked. Ask the the hard questions,
Right.
and make sure that she was a good friend. We're
Yes.
heading the same place. Like the things that we organically wanted in life. If she was an extrovert, now it's introvert. Be a little tough. Do I have the ability to hold somebody that's an extrovert if I'm an introvert? So I had to look within to find out truthfully what naturally kind of brought out the normal in me. It made me kind of like attracted to her.
I think that people are looking at the filtered pictures, the professions, the social circles, and they're falling in love with those things.
Yeah.
And then whatever finesse they get finessed along the way. Oh, I come from a good family. Oh, I just love to shop at Whole Foods.
And I think
eat healthy.
it's also like honestly hard for people nowadays because everybody's just so different. Everybody grows up differently.
We grew up differently. This is
we
true.
all might look the same. Maybe
But
wear the same
even if you
clothes
grow
and
up
style.
different, it doesn't always, you're not always, how can I say this? You don't always have to be a product of your environment.
No, you don't.
Because remember, my forever president was
Why is
born
it
and
hard?
raised on this. What is it?
He said it's hard.
It's not hard.
It's hard not to be a product of your
Barack
environment.
Obama was President Barack Obama. Our forever president was born on the south side of Chicago
here's the
by a
thing, right?
single white woman
Here's what we'll always
in those times.
But here's what we'll always do, right? We'll always talk about the one or the few who are able to like circumvent their environment.
It's not the few.
It absolutely is the
No,
few.
Toks, come on. So I was raised in West Hollywood, and my parents also had a home in South LA.
What does that mean?
I got the
She was
same.
rich.
Which one's
That's
Bankhead?
what it sounded like.
Which one's
Sound like she was
Bankhead?
rich to me.
Which one's
Yeah,
Bankhead?
that's
Which
it.
one's Buckhead?
Good job.
So
That's
no.
it. I picked that up. I'm like, hey, listen, for all the single dudes,
No. So
Right.
it's, the fact of the matter is, I saw two different spectrums of neighborhoods.
so did I.
And so my thing is, it didn't change me because what I was learning and what was being instilled in me as a young woman in the making was the morals and values. And guess what? There were a lot of things that my mom didn't show me that I had to go and seek and learn and develop because I knew I wanted to be a certain type of woman. Now, I am a product of my environment to a certain degree. Come with it, Ogun.
But
I'll
she
be
just-
ready for you.
but you're not ready for it. You just said it yourself, right?
Oh.
Because here's the thing: is that if you already have the support of your parents, that already gives you a leg up, right?
No.
And then
I
just
didn't
said-
always have the support of my
not
parents.
true.
So
Right.
just because
No,
my
but
parents.
you also did just say that after having the support of your parents, there's some stuff that your mom didn't
There was
know
a
that
lot
you had
of
to-
stuff.
that you had to seek out yourself.
So I want to just kind of take it back
As-
just a second. So my parents have been
as a young
together since they
person.
were 16.
Okay.
My dad is the only man my mom knows
Daddy said he ain't gonna let that go.
at all.
Right, you ain't gonna give no chances in college. You're like, I'm locking down there.
Right?
You at 17, I'm getting
Right?
married. You tell parents
So
not.
what I'm saying is there's only so much. Although my mother is an absolutely phenomenal woman that is self-made and has educated, beautiful, everything, right? There were still things as a woman that ended up getting married when she was in her early 20s, getting divorced in her early 20s, having a child, going from this. My mother was a woman that was raised in a family that had a family and still has a family. So she didn't understand what it meant to be a single mom or what it meant to be a woman dating or what it meant to be a woman having to deal with the troubles of corporate America as a single mom and all those So I had to seek these things out and learn these things myself. So it doesn't take away from my mom being a phenomenal woman. It's just I used my base and I grew from it. I had to do the work.
What did you do?
Oh, God. So I always said, I went to private school. I went to an elite private school. Don't
Hey, man.
listen, y'all.
Hey,
Don't,
y'all.
don't
Hey,
judge me.
I got reason to believe she real rich.
No.
Right? Like,
No.
none of this applies to the normal dude, right?
Right, you know what I'm saying? And then you see how it makes more sense, right?
Yeah.
It's like how
I want to
rich
help
rich
you
people,
out, but you keep on going
No,
on
no,
another
but-
way that,
Right.
you know.
rich people always talk about, hey, you know what? You could change your environment. You ain't got to be a product of your environment.
I
It's just like,
cannot.
that's easy to put.
Well, I'm gonna say
Private
this.
school,
I'm
really?
gonna say this, right? And just
You better
not
have
to-
my back on this one, Dax. All I know.
I got a back.
Okay.
So I will say this: the minute you start figuring out how important parental guardian and or a mentorship is,
Yes.
is the minute you start walking forward truthfully in your life.
Yes.
Right.
Because anything that you had success at, truthfully, somebody showed you an example.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you trying to take on the whole life by yourself. Excuse my language, you gonna fuck it up.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's it. So
Yeah.
my whole mindset was like, if you wanted to be a wife, this is the matrix. Get yourself a mentor or somebody that you like. This is why the Claire Huxtable theory is
I
more
love
popular
Claire
than
Huxtable.
the other situation. I'm not gonna mention names. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Most guys are like, Claire Huxtable was sexy. She was cool.
She was
down.
sophisticated
she was
and
strong, sophisticated.
educated.
That's why she'll always win a race.
Yeah.
Because she gave this example of like 360. What a woman.
That
really
is what I
could do.
watched as a child.
Okay, cool.
Seeing Claire Huxtable and then Different World.
But how you carry yourself and when I met you, that's what it was.
So what is the disconnect with a lot of people nowadays?
Because
they watched it too.
Because what's not, I'll tell you right now, right? What's popular is not valued. What's valued is not popular. Okay? So
Say that again.
what's popular is not valued. And what's valued is not popular. But to be honest with you, that's the situation. You can sell 1 million Hondas, right? But you're going to sell 10,000 Mercedes.
You are.
That's it. But that don't mean you lower the prices with the Mercedes.
That's true.
So you just got to be careful. And then I think whatever you want to be, just find yourself a good mentor, 2 to 3, that you can actually talk to about what the future looks like before you get there.
And I think I'll probably say almost the majority of people who've been able to change past their circumstances and their environment had that lesson either directly said to them or they learned it some type of way where, hey, you know what? There's some stuff that I need to know and I need to figure out some mentors. And if my parents can't do it, I'm going to find somebody
You
who
have to
can
do the
it.
work.
You have to.
I feel like a lot of kids don't get that. And so they just, hey, if this is all what we doing, this is what we doing.
But
Right.
that's what, the world influence. That's what I said. It's popular.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's valued is never popular.
Right.
Okay. So
Right.
good guys, I can give it to you in like 800,000 different ways. Good guys finish last. Good guys are not popular. Okay. They're not popular. Sorry. So, but
Gotta
the
seek
other,
them out, girls.
Yep. And guess what? We always get popular on the tail end.
Right.
When you realize that you don't messed up. Oh, it's after college. Everybody got the 2020 on. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Oh, man, I ain't got no insurance. I ain't got no job, this and that and this. But that's the one dude that sat in the class. He just sat all the way in the back. He didn't talk to nobody. And his glasses and shit, he had a mustache. He was weird. You know what I'm saying? All the girls missed him. But now he owned the company. He wasn't popular.
Right.
Now he's valued
Right.
because he paid attention to the steps.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. And it just goes back to that you have to do the work.
You got to do
And
the
you've
work.
got to seek out. Like, even though I've been blessed in regards with my family,
Highly
there were still
blessed
very
and
short.
highly favored.
There were still there were still very like shortcomings that I had to deal with, like, emotionally. Like, going to a private school with kids that are, rich. I wasn't rich.
Hey,
Do you know
I'm
what
gonna
type of-
scoot that way? I feel like lightning gonna hit right.
No,
It's
no.
Sunday yet.
You have to, like, seriously, it as a child, going to school with a kid that turns 16 that gets a Range Rover, a brand new Range Rover, and you don't even have a car, and you're like,
Always.
I would have asked her that question, like, "Hey,
That's all.
why don't you got no range?"
Why is that always rich kids' trauma?
no.
Rich kids' trauma. They got a Mercedes, and I didn't get nothing.
Well, no, I had an 85 Nissan Sentra that was my mom's first car that she bought.
Oh, really? So you had a car? Because we had feet.
No. This is when I did get a car.
We still had feet.
But I had to catch the 105 in Inglewood.
Did I miss anything when I
Okay.
said feet? You know what I'm saying? Did it change? Like,
No, she's
I
like,
had
nope.
to catch the bus. The nasty. Y'all know how OCD I can be. The nasty bus.
Okay.
And beg my grandparents to pick me up from the bus stop. 25 bus stops away from the house. So it's like I had my own, issues that I dealt with. It is a lot. Imagine these kids nowadays, how much they go through, and adults, psychologically, when they see people on social media that are in Tulum. They're driving a Mercedes, they're in here, they're doing this, they're getting the best of the best, they're at the spa, they're getting all these flower gifts. And people are like, normal 40, 30-year-olds that are like, fuck my life. You know? Imagine as a kid.
I can agree with that.
And you're just like, why? Like, don't I? So I have my own shortcomings. So life was not always peachy and glorious and wonderful, but it is a lot emotionally and psychological to go through those kind of shortcomings. And some people may look at it like, oh, you went to private school. You were privileged. Yeah, but I didn't have what they had. Like,
but
going to school with Jim Brown's daughter, like
always,
that. You don't.
Let me ask you this.
That's a real psychological.
Ain't no psychological nothing to me.
We got some questions for you, Carly.
Exactly. We got some. I'm gonna look. We're gonna turn this way. We got some
questions
questions for you. Yeah.
We got some questions.
I'm over about minding my own business, y'all.
So you know all these famous people. So my question is that I think you have to have a foundation, like a perspective of what success and happiness is,
right?
And then choose your mentors.
This is true.
Because success, I know a lot of people with a lot of money, and they're not happy.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp is not happy right now.
At least not right now.
Right. So, like when you create a foundation, I think you should, like, it's like a test, you know, and unfortunately that's a test we all have to go through, but it protects what we have built.
Right.
And when you get inside, then you kind of figure out what the next step is. And that's at least my take on it. Yeah.
So Dax, and I appreciate that, and that's important. Mentorship is super duper important. Not having the mentor with the Bugatti, and you know,
right?
You know, I get it.
My mentor was a whole corporate VP. That's it. You know, and I wanted to.
I feel like this conversation just keeps on, like,
right.
You know what?
You and I,
Every
we
single
can't
time,
measure
man.
up to her.
Right? The camera.
I feel like when she talk, we must listen.
You know what I'm saying?
Right? Yeah, like,
No,
hey,
I mean,
I went to public school. You went to public school. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? You know, projects type
Levels,
stuff. You know,
right.
regular.
Well,
stuff.
I went to
Right?
Catholic school. That wasn't fun.
I feel like 40% of the words I can spell, she was spelling when she was a kid.
No.
She's all right. Yeah.
Right.
This some elitist.
You know what
No.
I'm saying? Exactly.
No, I will tell you.
Do you feel like
tell
you kind of resolved the trauma of not getting a Mercedes for your 16th birthday?
Yeah.
No, my grandmother actually bought me a car because I went to my grandmother's house and I said, I'm sick of driving this car. But I will tell you guys this. I will tell y'all this. I have some very humbling moments, okay?
Wait.
So let me tell you, in my little 85 Nissan Sentra, I went and got some seat covers. Okay, I used to spit shine my little 85 Nissan Sentra. Okay, because the paint job was absolutely horrible. Okay, but it was my car and I loved it, and it was my shit. And then it got to a point where I think my mom took my car away, and I got sick of that game. So I went around the corner to my grandmother's house.
Can you imagine having a conversation with Carly?
Right.
Like in the evening, like, yeah, my mama took my car away and this and that. You're like, motherfucker, I gotta walk home. You know that, right? I gotta
Right.
walk home.
No, but you got to remember, kids in my social circle had freaking Audis and shit.
And then what did we have?
You know what I mean?
Right, what did we have?
But they had it, and I didn't.
Yeah.
And so I went around the corner. I told my grandmother, I'm like, I want a car. And so she went, and she's like, well, do you know how to drive a stick? Because my car was a stick shift.
So you can drive sticks.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
And so my grandmother said, okay, well, yeah, it's not right. She took your car away. Your parents took your car away. You know, you got to get to school. So my grandmother took me to a little buy here, pay here, and bought me a Camaro stick shift.
I still ain't
story
got
just
to go.
gets
Right,
deeper.
it gets worse.
Right.
So let me tell you guys.
I do not see your point.
Shout out to Mama.
I do not see your point.
No,
Right?
this is a
I
story.
went to Granny's house and she bought me a Camaro.
Camaro,
So
and I
wait a
came
minute.
back and Mama didn't like it, so she bought me a Rolex. And then Christmas came and Daddy bought me
I know.
a Chanel purse.
No,
I'm
no,
like,
no. There was
this
no
shit ain't
Chanel
going
purses.
downward. It's going
Yeah.
upward.
Right.
No, it's all point. It's all the point. And then I told my grandmother, she's like, do you know how to drive it? I'm like, yeah. Didn't know how to drive it because guess why? I learned how to drive a stick on an old ass 85. This car was only like 2-3 years old. And I couldn't hear the shifting because when you're driving a stick shift, you got to be able to hear the gears. And so I'm like, you know, stalling out and I got to hurry up and try to act like I know how to drive it. And I can't hear the gears changing. And so my grandmother ended up taking it back. And so I got stuck back
Because
with.
you couldn't handle your blessing.
I couldn't handle my blessing.
Yeah.
So that was a very humbling moment because I was stunned. I had the little T-top. I was cute, okay?
Well, what I will say is that, because I remember Dave Chappelle made a joke about that, where and he was saying, like, you know, if you grow up in the hood, everybody is in the hood, y'all in the hood together.
Right.
But when you just make it enough to live in a rich neighborhood, you feel like, well, we the same. Why I got all this shit and I ain't got nothing? You know what I'm saying?
Why we got a 3-4 bedroom house?
You're able to visually kind of keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
And that kind of messes with people in a way that that's different. And I feel like with Instagram and social media, we're able to do that like instantly.
Instantly.
And that's why it feels like, wait,
You ain't doing
if
shit.
everybody's in Tulum and Bali and all this, and I ain't been nowhere, like
What's wrong with my life? I hate my job.
Well,
and you're like,
And there's the one meme where it's just like, look, if y'all running some type of scam that y'all give
Let
free
us
plane
know.
tickets, please let us know. You know what I'm saying? Because how's everybody traveling?
right.
So, but the thing is, like, I don't know.
Shout out to Alicia in the back that always travel. How y'all
Right.
traveling, Alicia?
And she's like, I'm about to leave right now.
Alicia's somewhere
So-
every week.
Yeah, that's it. But I honestly believe, man, anything you want to do got to start from you. They said, yeah, she about to leave. Yeah.
No, I'm laughing because
Toksy felt
I'm
that.
laughing because growing up, like maybe we went to Disney World like one time.
See,
At least you went to Disney World. We went to Disneyland and didn't even know how good Disneyland could be because we never been
but
to
I'm
Disney
saying, but
World.
One time.
Oh.
Everywhere else that we went,
hold on, wait. She got something to say.
Don't do it,
Oh,
Dax.
yeah,
Don't do it. Don't.
Like I said, I couldn't afford no alcohol, so they just gave me pineapple and shit. You know what I'm saying? So he and I do the
Dax,
regular
don't
shit.
do this.
Yeah.
Is music to Toks' ear. He's gonna have a
well,
good
no,
night.
what Carly's basically going to say is that everybody else was going to Aspen, and we could
They
only
did
go
do
to
that.
Disneyland.
But I will tell you this, even though, I did have some great moments in my life, like in my childhood, my dad gave back a lot. Like we had, we had boats and we would take in jet skis. So we would take the kids in the neighborhood. Why y'all do this to me?
I'm about to leave.
Don't.
Is the wrong? That right? Hey, bro.
I ain't sharing no more of my life. I thought we was being vulnerable.
Jet
Yeah.
skis, boats.
Why? I thought we were
jet
being
skis,
vulnerable.
Boats. Right now, I feel like you're a rapper and
Right.
you're stunting on us, and I'm very insecure. He is too, but we're trying to fight through it.
Y'all had
You know?
boats and jet
That's
skis.
No,
it.
but we gave.
I've never been on a jet ski.
Come on,
Come
now.
on now.
I still
You
have
didn't been
not.
to Tulum.
You know what I'm saying?
I have
I've been
not.
to Tulum, but still not on no jet ski.
So this is the thing. We did. It wasn't this is our stuff. We gave back, and that's why my family is respected because we did give back a lot to the city of Los Angeles. Like just two people that needed things and loans and just helping kids in the neighborhood less
Y'all
fortunate.
gave loans?
Like my dad has sent kids to school, like to college.
Oh, I mean, I was thinking like a bank.
Oh, God. I mean,
They're
a
like,
grant.
hey, we have loans now.
But it's
We're
like-
loaning kids.
Bank of Martin.
Bank, right?
Y'all ain't shifting on this. I got something to
on.
talk about after we.
Yeah.
So it's like, but it's what you do with your platform. You can't. The one I hate a person, and I'm gonna use that as a very strong word, but I hate to see a person that makes it to a certain capacity in life, and feels like, all right, great, so I've made it, and all of you watch my life. Like we gave back tremendously, and even to this day we give back. I give back. And it feels good because it feels right. It feels like what I'm supposed to do, what we're supposed to do, because it's a blessing. Yes.
Let me ask you this. Do you hold other people, like you said, so you do hold other people to that same
So my friends that know me know I do hold people to a higher regard
thing? Why? Why higher?
because when I'm your friend, I'm your friend. And I care about my friends. And
Okay.
when they come to my house and I may have, when a chef come, shout out to Chef Joe in the back. Shout out to Chef Joe in the back.
You know what I'm saying?
When they come and overcook or whatnot, I may pay for a chef to come over cook for me and my friends because I'm like, you know what? I want us to just enjoy and have a great time. And I love hosting my friends and hosting and giving back. And it's not giving back from a pet servant type of way, but more so like I love my friends. Let's have a Carly brunch or let's do something. And I want you guys to come and be served at my house.
So who do you think you got this straight from?
My mother.
Okay. So you had some kind of visual influence that you grew up around. You got this straight from her, and this is
And
who
my
you are.
grandmother.
Okay.
And my aunt.
2 levels.
Yeah, it's
Exactly. So it's times 2 for any dude who want to holler. You're going to have
Right.
to give in the church and to her. Okay?
Split
When
them
the plate
ties.
goes around and you don't, she be like, he came.
But you know what? I think it goes back to examples and even and mentorship. So even if you don't have that, like I know everybody is not fortunate to have like certain like a in-home mentor. But even if you see somebody like out in the street that like I was a mentor for a very long time, and then you know even my father is a mentor even to this day, and so it's like. You have to be able to set that platform and be able to show people what you can do and lead by example. But don't lead in terms of, I don't lead in terms of aspiration. I don't want anyone to aspire to be like me. Aspire to be better. Aspire to be the best version of yourself. You know?
I can speak on that, but I'm not going to go all the way into the details
You're not
of
going
that. Mm-mm.
You don't want to do it tonight?
Well, I'll
you
say
gonna
this
come
much.
back on
When somebody's kind of replicating who you are, they're still finding themselves.
Yes.
Yeah. So if they're taking from what you have and making themselves, because at the end of the
I
day,
love that.
you and I didn't come out at 5'2" or 6'1" or 6'6". You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So I'll never be able to truthfully do every single thing you can do.
Right.
But I can take that and give it my own interpretation.
Right.
Oh,
You know what I'm
definitely.
saying? And
Yeah.
move forward from there. But if I'm trying to
Yep.
be just like you, or you know what I'm saying, I'm still finding myself, and that's where you have to coach me.
Right.
I would agree. Even just
You
like
know what
with
I'm
my
saying?
daughter, I'm like,
Yeah, kids do that all the time.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
know?
I don't mind if people aspire to be me. I mean,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Toks loves it. He's like, be just
Well,
like
they're
me.
inspired to be you, and
Right.
then like that's the thing. You know, kids be like, okay, I want to be like Mike. Well, guess what?
Mike
You know,
wasn't perfect.
Mike wasn't perfect. You got the best part of Mike in terms of what you saw on television.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And
Right.
if you talk to Michael Jordan, he'll probably tell you the same thing.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
He'll tell you,
That's
don't be
it.
like me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's
better
something, be
or-
better. And so even with my daughter, I teach her, I'm like, I teach her to be a Renaissance woman. You know, she knows how to cook and she's well versed. You know, Toks, she's a good
That's
kid.
because she's rich. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's
Rich.
I was waiting to throw
rich-
that in here.
Yes,
That's
we
it.
are rich in spirit and soul.
Nah.
And so when you're rich in soul and your foundation, in whichever way that comes, you could be adopted and not have a family and find a mentor and find somebody that, or a book or a show that can inspire you to be the best version of yourself.
That's it. That's the
That's-
ability. That's the power of dreaming.
Yes.
You know? And honestly, I think mentors and people who were put here before us just to give us guidance. But when we
Yes.
lay down and lay our heads down, we get the opportunity to dream based
Yeah.
on what we saw. Every time you go to sleep, you get a reset and dream again.
Yes.
So I do believe in what Oprah said. She's like, hey, every time you lay down and you get up, it's a chance.
It's such another
It's a
chance. It's
chance.
another 24 hours
So,
that you have
yep.
to make a difference and to be the best version of yourself.
But that's the same thing that applies to the relationships.
Yes.
So, you know. And
You can't, let me tell you, and so I just want to touch on that. I mean, getting married, okay, he's so happy about it. He smiles every time I say
good.
it.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Who's supposed to be sad about getting married?
Well,
Well,
you
you
get
know what,
some
in-
people
in
that are
today-
getting married just for
Then
the
why
other
did you bring up
person.
getting married?
Right? No,
Then why'd you go into it?
I have a friend that is getting married,
Okay.
and he is getting married because this is the best option at this point in my life,
Well.
and I am in this phase of my life, and this person is the best option, and that's it.
It's a very old school mentality.
And
So
yeah,
this person, he's saying this person is the best option at this phase. Is it? Did I hear that right?
you
Yeah.
did.
Okay. So when that phase is out, is she out?
I mean, the person's been married before, so I
TBD.
don't know. I can't really speak
Say
to
it
that.
again.
TBD.
To be
Okay.
determined.
So right, since we phasing it out, you see what I'm saying? That'll be my perspective on the whole situation. I'm like, you can't phase this thing out, man. I think at the end of the day, to me, at this point, a healthy relationship is that of which two people are somewhat equally yoked, right? And I get to read the progression of your book that never ends until I die.
I love that. And I want to create
And I want to
additional
read it.
chapters and
But how do you get the equally yoked part? I think that's where people get
Don't go
confused.
get an extrovert if you're an introvert.
Okay.
Get to know yourself, what you really like. If you like to drink, don't get somebody who don't drink. If you like, you really, and honestly, the foundation of who is built by your mentors, what you saw.
Gotcha.
You have to look at the core. In my opinion, you have to look at the core. What are their core values? If your core values are not linking up and mirroring each other, I feel like they're not the person for you.
I say that's hard.
The part that's funny, right? About core values.
Yeah, because
you can build core values all day. If I don't like you,
well, that's after you get past the like. To know if you want to marry somebody, you already know you like them.
No, what I'm saying is that core values, we want to get married, we are Christian, like the foundation of everything, I have to like you.
This is true.
That's what equally yoked is to a certain degree. It's just as important as the foundation.
So there's the foundation.
Right.
I feel like there's a cycle, right? So there's the attraction, initial, right?
You get too over that.
There is the...
I'm too over that.
There's the attraction of more than just the physical aspect. I'm attracted to your personality. I'm attracted to the way that you move, you look, the way that you handle people, the way, right?
I'm attracted to the novelty
but that's not, you see, but that's
there's
not,
so many different.
Exactly.
No,
that's
guys,
that's not it.
There's layers. I'm
it.
building layers, okay? So there's initially there is the attraction aspect of it.
Okay.
You have to be attracted to somebody to know if you like them.
But you're not looking at the thing that you're looking at right now is like saying, hey, you like a fast car, right? But you've never driven fast cars before and understand that they come with certain things.
Right.
Yeah, right? What I'm asking you is this. If you like somebody, let them love something in their life and the foundation that they built around it. They're showing you how they're going to treat you.
This is true. But
see what I'm
before
saying?
you even get to, so that's a little separate. So before you get to that, in terms of understanding and knowing if this is the person that you like or the car, you have to know that Hondas are nice, but that Mercedes is shiny. So that Mercedes made you it's attractive.
A lot of things are attractive.
Right?
You get what I'm saying? Like,
so that's
you
fair.
see attractive,
but then you start, once you see the initial attraction, then you start to, okay, let's peel back some more layers. Right? Now that I know that I think that you're attractive and I like the conversation that we had, let me find out more about you. Let me see what your core is like. What's important to you? What's your foundation? Who are you to other people? What do your friends say about you?
No, what do you, like...
What do you want for yourself?
All of that is cool, but what is it that you fell in love with outside of people in this life? And I'll break it down to you this way, right? I love television influence, right?
Yes.
Okay? I would do it for free. Okay?
Good to know.
The passion... No, I would do it for free. Anything you love, you're going to do for free.
This is true. At some point, yeah.
Right? You love, you're going to do it for free. And that's just life, okay? And you're never going to stop doing it. But my whole thing is that the passion, the work, the days, the ugly, the good, the this, the that I put in it, it's the same thing I'll put in you.
And so
That's
that is and I agree with that. That is when you're past all the other fun stuff that I mentioned, and now you are looking at this person's core and who they are and saying, I choose you because of these reasons. But I think that people are not choosing for those reasons. They're choosing for all the surface things.
Of course.
I'm going to drive this Mercedes, whether it's ugly or not, because it's a Mercedes.
It's popular.
It's popular. It looks good. I'm going to look good in it. People are going to think I have money. It's just going to fit my who I want to portray.
But
that's
she
the
does
same
have
thing.
money, doesn't she?
What happened? What'd you say, Dax?
Huh?
You know, everybody know you drive a Benz.
Yeah,
probably.
I would like to say you're rich, but at this point we can say you're rich. There's a difference, right?
Levels.
Yeah.
Don't do this.
All right,
No,
go.
don't do that.
All right, go ahead.
Do this to me.
There's levels to this.
All right,
you know
there's
what I'm
levels to it.
No, the Mercedes was the example that you gave, Dax.
Okay.
Don't
Yes,
do me
yes.
like that.
saying? And it's a
Toks,
coincidence
how you
that
get
you
somebody
also
to do this to me on the
Let's
show?
just listen, okay?
So it's that main attraction, right? It's the novelty. It's that social media immediate attraction.
Yeah.
People are not seeing the core.
But why do you think they're not seeing the core?
Because everyone is we're in the instant popcorn social environment where everything is so instant. I want to see that you're attractive. I don't care if you're wearing filters. I want your body to be absolutely perfect. I want you to have all this stuff going on. That's all surface. Nobody can show you their core on social media.
But it goes deeper than that.
It does.
It goes deeper than that because here's the deal, right? When people are developing, there's no structure.
Right.
Again. Okay? So they don't know what to look for. This is a whole world. Right? This is why like people talk about, the nucleus of the black family. Okay, great. That's cool. I say the nucleus of a positive relationship. That's a responsibility between two
Two people,
consenting adults.
Yes.
Because guess what? When you lay down together and you put a little person in this world, right? You get to this speech if you don't do it the right way. That's it. This is just the before in terms of what she's talking about. So at the end of the day, it's a big thing to find somebody you really like. Found out over time their foundation. Find something that they love to do.
Because the whole purpose of dating was for people to get married.
Yep.
So, but since we've kind of taken that part out of it, people aren't always looking for a spouse. Sometimes people are just looking to hang out. And sometimes some people are looking for relationships. So it just all depends. And so you have like a lot of people who are just confused out there, not knowing, I don't know what you're looking for or what phase you're in your life or what you're trying to get. I can ask you, you can say you're looking for something, but are you really looking for it?
I'm watching your steps, not your words.
Right.
I'm watching your steps. We can sit here and talk all day. We're going to see where you're going to go and what you're going to do. And that's why I kind of believe in what Steve Harvey said, like the 30, 60, 90. When you get older, when I was younger, I was like, man, what is he talking about? When I got older, I'm like, I get what he's talking about. Because anything that's worth your time, right, we'll put into work for your time.
I would agree.
That's it. Hey, you look at this. Look at life. Life gives you the basic situation, right? Most things that are material that we got too quick, we lost. People won the lotto, they lost it.
Oh, yeah, that's so true.
Anything that you run into, right, too quick, more than likely you're going to lose because you don't have the tenure. You don't have the maturity. You just got it. So the position that you're in is a 50-50 chance.
Right.
If I gave you $100 million tonight, right, you have never had $100 million before, you better find some people who've had something at least, close to that.
Right.
Or else guess what? You'll be like, well, I'm going to give my mama a little bit. I'm going to do this and that. And it was like, well,
it's like I get $1 million. I'm going to go buy
everybody
a $300,000
Correct.
freaking car.
You didn't buy the car, but you still gave the money away.
Right.
And you still don't know. That's my point. Anytime you run into something that's like a material, I call it temporary positive situation, you're going to temporarily run out of it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I would
need
agree.
that guidance.
So what would you say to like someone or people that are in, surface type of relationships or in wonky relationships that they truly believe is
Part 2 to this conversation, your intuition is made for you to be smart. Sharpen it.
Or how do you know
it tells you to quit.
How do you know you're in a surface level relationship?
Your intuition is telling you.
You know.
Your intuition is telling you.
Is it? Because I feel like some of these people don't know.
Anytime you say, I feel like, you're telling me. Your intuition tells you in so many different ways. Then the last thing is your body's going to fuck you up.
don't let your body tell you you're not in a good relationship.
I'm going to tell you that. Either
That's
she's going to
gonna be
get
an
pregnant,
appointment
you're going to get her
somewhere.
something, and then you're going to be sitting at a bar doing what I call the hopeful dating. The hopeful dating is when you go to the bar and you meet somebody, like, oh, well, I could find somebody. I'm like, that's a 50-50 environment, player. That's a 50-50 environment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll go to the bar, but more than likely, everybody's over there to just what? Hit or miss.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a hit or miss. So that's the thing. People nowadays, Johnny Depp is what you're talking about in a tough conversation.
Yes.
As much and as painful as it sounds, and what I'm about to say, in my personal opinion, and I know some friends that go through this or are currently going through this, when you're in a tough relationship, you're not breaking it off just for you, but you're also giving that person the opportunity to explore that of which is hurting and unknown about themselves, to themselves. So for instance, if they're hurting about something and they're just kind of projecting it on you, they haven't fixed something internally.
Right. And it's not, again, your responsibility to fix a
can't
person.
fix
That's not, because
nobody.
in my opinion, I
Yeah.
feel like if you have to go through that, now I get, people will have moments where they don't always agree. I get it. Those are people issues. It's just normal shit, right?
Yeah.
But if it's not your responsibility to fix anyone, and I had to learn that myself, even through therapy, I had to learn it's not your responsibility to fix someone that has issues just because you can climb through and see
Yeah.
with a squint of your eye that they're a good person. Because what that does is it takes years off of your life, number
Yep.
one. And then number two, this person heals and then gives you their ass to kiss. And then number three, you're sitting there like, God damn, what just happened?
That's it. Yeah, positive love, that's all it does. Positive love only gives you a clear mind to create and make this world a better place. It's as simple as that.
Right.
So when you're in a positive situation, you can lay your head down, and you go and play into this world, you see some things, you're going to create. That's it. That's all. The more you create, you're going to share the story with that partner. And that person got to do the same thing. That's why I say you keep on reading each other's books.
You have to. I truly
That's it.
believe that you have to constantly work, even through
Yeah.
friendships.
Yeah.
In a relationship, you always have to work through your relationship. You always have to keep it fresh and new. I mean, still date each other.
I make it a
Still,
point to do that.
I think those things are very
part's
important.
hard.
And I truly, what'd you say, Toks?
The keeping it fresh and new.
Yeah.
Really?
Right.
Why? I'm just asking.
Well, because I feel like we have a lot of stimulation and people are doing a lot of things. And so it's hard to, when you get used to somebody, it's hard to see them with a fresh face because you know them so well. But then on the entertainment side of your life, you getting new this, new that, new stuff is popping up left and right. And so everything always seems like it's so enticing. That grass is always greener on the other side, feels like it's really green.
Is it?
Right, it's like emerald green.
He's like, it's really green.
You know what I mean?
I think
That is tough because that's a mindset, in my opinion.
Yep.
And so you have to be content with understanding and knowing like what you want. And if that's what you want, you have to be able to want and live, breathe, smell, eat and it, right? Especially if it's a person that you choose.
Yeah.
Right.
If you can't, in my opinion, feel like that you can, because I think it falls into unconditional love. And I feel like if you can't see one person that you're with in all different facets of life, then maybe it's not unconditional love. It's just surface love.
Let me ask you this. I think you get it, like, I don't know, man, my mindset has always been different on this. I think life is so beautiful, you get to date, like, different versions of somebody.
Right.
You get to date the old version,
Yeah.
the I just gained weight version, the broke version, the I'm not Christian today version, the I cussed on Sunday
little ratchet version.
the ratchet version, the rich version. You know what I'm saying? The poor version.
Right.
You know what I'm
The
saying?
cabin version.
Right? Yeah, and like, I think you notice those things when you start looking from within. Like, I'll give you a little story.
That's fair.
A friend, my brother's son did this, right? And it's a funny story for, females and stuff like that. But he said, he was telling me this one day. He said, look, so, he was telling me and my mom, he said, one day, I came home, just regular day and whatnot, kids happy to see me, hugging me, embracing me, et cetera, or whatever, and my son ran up to me and he was like, Daddy, I gotta go use the bathroom. So I was like, okay, go use the restroom. So he ran up to go use the restroom. And you laughing because you think you know what's about to happen, right? Right? So he ran up in the restroom. He said, when I was trying to get a drink, all I heard was, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. He was like, what? So he came up in the restroom. He thought something was happening.
Right.
Right? And his son was standing over, the commode looking down like, Daddy is standing up. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, oh, yeah, that happens sometime, So he had to sit there and explain. He's like, I like it.
Oh, my God. I wouldn't have known what to do.
So my thing is that as our body changes, as we change, as we experience life, we bring these stories into the fun, familiar aspect of living with each other.
Right.
It strengthens our bond.
Right.
This is what they mean by laugh at yourself. It's okay.
Right.
Share those stories, right? That's what makes it really hard, right? For a good relationship to just walk away.
Right.
Because you took the liberty of looking at yourself and saying, hey, listen, man, I'm cool when I'm sharp today, but I'm funny and things happen to me. I'm clumsy, etc.
Yeah.
Don't take yourself too serious.
Right.
Yeah.
And so for me, every 10 years, you get a new version of yourself. Who you were
Right.
from 20 to 30 is now who you're going to be from 30 to 40.
Right.
And date that person. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And that's it.
It's just, I think that you hit it right on the head. The different versions of a person.
Yeah.
Not the same version when I go home and I'm tired. Okay, I'm gonna tell you that right now.
But you're trying to be.
Yeah, and then I like for me, I can go from wanting to go have cocktails to saying I'm gonna go to the nursery and go pick up flowers.
And that's who you are.
That's totally a different person.
Yeah. Right. I bet you do some more real funny shit in between. Like
Yeah.
You poor.
Like boats and jet skis, Camaros.
That's so funny.
So that's the thing,
But it's like when you're with someone and you're going through this life with them, it's like a roller coaster. You're going through this fun stuff with them, and I don't think I've been with someone in an intimate relationship where I just really got sick of them. It was probably something else that broke the relationship apart.
What do you mean?
So I've never been in a relationship with someone where I was just like, gosh, this is a little fucking boring. Don't really feel like doing this anymore. Mm-hmm. It was more along the lines of maybe the person, as I did life with them, they transitioned into a different type of person that we were not equally yoked anymore. But I never got sick of them in terms of, this is so boring. Like, you're just, ugh. It was more along the getting along type of thing, possibly.
Uh-huh. Were you able to talk to the person about it? Did y'all talk about it?
Yeah. So I was married, and when I was young, and so it was my daughter's father, and so we got married very young. Mm-hmm. So we were not, and this is why I don't encourage people to get married young. I encourage people.
Young.
Yeah.
We getting married.
Right?
How old are you? 17.
That's about the love of my life.
I love you. You love me.
Uh-huh.
Let's do it.
Got off of work, Publix. I'm about to go get that ring right now. $83. That's it.
So I think that people should get married in their 30s and so on and so forth. I definitely don't encourage like in your 20s, because I think that you truly know who you are and know exactly what you want by like 35.
I say people should get married earlier, because I feel like if you do wait to that like mid 30s, whatever that range, you run the risk of being in the streets and getting your mind fucked up. And it's and see, because people say like, oh, you're gonna remain single from 20 to 35, but the way people are nowadays, you're gonna date a lot, and you're gonna have a lot of relationships, and there's gonna be a lot of trauma and a lot of back and forth. And if you're not like healing throughout that process, it's a tough road.
That's a big word. That's exactly what I was gonna go at. Right? You got to be careful, man. Like, again, parental guardians help you establish foundations. Foundations help so when you're in the world, everything don't just take you.
Yeah, you have some foundation. It's like if you don't stand for something, you fall for everything.
You fall for everything. Uh-huh. By the time you get to a girl who's gorgeous, beautiful, but she thinks that, or he thinks that having a nice car or having money is success, he's still broken at the foundation.
Exactly.
And that can go for whether you're a male or a female. Establish your foundation, your roots. You're going to need it to mate, be interested in each other, and to raise a child.
You know what I think is the biggest, the biggest sacrifice in the sacrifices? I think the greatest sacrifice is when you're dating someone or you're with someone and they're very busy and they carve out time to spend time with you.
That's what they did when they met you. No?
Yeah.
Right.
No,
I'm
saying.
I didn't have to go to work at 4 a.m. the next day. I had to. But I had to see you too.
Right.
Right. It's a necessary act.
Both is happening.
Right.
And I would.
We're on the boat this weekend.
I would actually prefer that more than someone that wants to just buy me a gift.
And but you found that out. Like, a lot of guys learn that late in the game. Like, you really got to, and it's something I talk about too, is love language. It goes back into
mine is quality time. What's yours, Toks?
Words of affirmation, physical touch.
Okay.
What was your dad or your mom like asking for a lot of time, or what was it?
My dad was really busy working and traveling.
Okay, well, there you go.
Okay.
All right. What was yours?
Okay.
It's like simple math for me. You see what I'm saying? Like, literally.
He's like, what's your name?
Whatever
All
you
right.
see is literally what you're going to get.
But we did have a lot of family time. Like, when we did have our quality time, it was great family time.
But guess who you're
I
dating?
enjoyed it.
Your dad. You're dating your dad to a certain degree. And you see what I'm saying? Like, so for instance, my father wasn't around like that. It was my mother, right? So I'm more of words of affirmation because when I was growing up, it was like, I'll try. And my mom be like, y'all touch my son, oh God, I'll kill you.
Oh God.
Words of,
Right.
you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. One time my mom was like, get out the car. She like literally went straight to the gym to fight somebody. You know what I'm saying? So
That was my aunt for me.
Exactly.
Shout out to Vanessa.
Right.
Beat up little kids
So
for me.
I'm like, go mama. You know what I'm saying? And,
Right.
and it made me happy because I had the support. And truthfully, where it came from was because my brothers already had the natural, like they were athletic, they were bigger, they were older. You got to find out what you were lacking and why you asked more of it. And that ties directly into, like, that's the chain into the person you want.
I just enjoy quality time. Like I enjoy that one-on-one, just especially, and it probably also has to do with like the men that I've dated in my life.
How about this, right? What did you have that you've spoken about that we didn't have that's not your thing?
Don't know.
You want to say boats,
Right.
gifts?
You know what I'm saying?
So gifts would
Believe
never
it or
be her
not,
thing like that.
My love language is quality time, words of affirmation, and gifts.
Oh, gifts.
Yeah.
But that's the last one, and it's before
Mine's is
physical
not-
touch.
Gifts is. I think I had enough gifts growing up.
But you know what gifts?
I had whatever I wanted, so gifts is
Oh,
not really a big
excuse me. Let's get into it.
Hey, flex.
What was that?
You think we?
You can come on over here now. Right, you can come on over here now. Let's get it.
I had gifts too. That's it. No, I did not.
But I don't, it's not like gifts like, oh, I'm going to give you this Chanel bag. It's more of gifts as like, I was thinking about you in our quality time. I'm going to give you these flowers.
But
That's
that's-
my
yeah.
mindset. Some women are like gifts, what is it? Gifts first. I only want gifts and then everything else falls to the wayside.
But that's the thing. Isn't that the same thing that they say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, when black folks did not have it
Yeah.
and they finally get it,
Ooh, it was all about the gifts.
it was all about everything
Forget
else,
that
right?
quality time.
So that's the same formula in the home.
Right. I can see that.
You get what I'm saying? So and it doesn't skip me. It's the same thing. Like, I grew up with my father not being around.
Yeah.
But honestly, we were okay, right?
Right.
So, I ain't nothing like you. You
Oh,
out
don't
here
you do it, Dax.
Going out with Michael Jordan kids and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm at the game. This is Michael Jackson. This is Michael Jordan.
No.
Hey, it's me.
Oh my God.
Like, goddamn, what kind of friend is this, man?
It was the punchlines for me.
So the thing is, I think it's a thing that it's not necessarily that you lack, or it's a plethora of it in your
Yeah.
childhood. You don't value that so much, but there's something that you know what I'm saying, you need more of.
Right.
And
I
that's
like
it.
It's-
gifts,
it's like
though. Don't
quality
get me
time.
wrong. I
Yeah.
like gifts. It's
I
just
had-
the quality time is.
I had too much quality time with my dad.
Okay. So
Toks was made to go fishing. Is that when he didn't want to? Is what it sounds
my
like.
dad was just always like, Toks, where you at? What you doing? You're not actually doing anything worth you not hanging out here with me, so come sit here and let's talk. It's like, I don't
And
wanna
so
talk
that
to
is
you.
funny because
I
Toks,
don't
you
wanna
like
talk-
to be by yourself sometimes.
Well, yeah, because just, bro, leave me alone.
Toks is like, leave me alone. I'm in here doing nothing.
Right.
it is
To
good for
do
me.
nothing. I
And
love
I
not
should be
doing
able
it.
to do nothing. No, you're not.
So you would
Come
just
sit
be in
here.
your room doing something. He'd be like, come here, sit down right here.
Yeah.
And you would just have to sit there, just be in his
The
company.
Next 4 or 5 hours.
Yep.
Oh,
We're talking, or he's trying to get me to debate something, and then trying to get me to debate the opposite side, back and forth. And, so
and
the
here
quality
we
time,
are
I'm just like,
on the show with
Here
you
we are on
debating
the show.
all
Debate,
the
all right.
fucking time. Just do right and agree.
I'm
Sorry.
telling you,
It makes
it makes all the sense.
but she say something, you get right, you let her know.
He's like, Carly, I'm made for this. Trust me, you better be ready.
But then, words of affirmation. He wasn't the biggest words of affirmation person, because he was more of those, like, it was almost like a '70s dad, like Furious from Boys in the Hood, where it's just like, I'm not your friend.
Oh
Oh my
yeah. So
I'm not gonna tell you, you know what I'm saying? Oh, good job, this and that. I'm gonna tell you, like, look,
right.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Hey now. I'll be around, but I didn't necessarily give that verbal, hey, you can do it.
you
Yeah.
can do it. It was more just like,
But
that's
did you
all,
do
that's
it?
all you could do.
Did you do it or
couldn't
not?
any- you couldn't
You
do any
could have
better.
did more. I'm out.
So
Damn, Dad.
imagine if you had a girl that actually did do the words of affirmation.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That let's say you like the workout and you met this girl who was like, hey man, you got it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. that shit is a hell of a punch in the man's mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, she's Jesus.
She's Jesus.
She's Jesus.
That's
So,
true.
Toks, do you get that in relationships that you're in? Do you, when you date, is it more along like, is that attractive to you, like the words of affirmation, or is it the quality?
Words of affirmation and physical touch, very, very attractive to me. And we also weren't like huggers and kissers growing up.
So you're not a hugger or a kisser?
No, I am.
So that's give you the opposite.
I'm just like,
It's like, come hug me and kiss me. Oh, not you're a cuddler, super
He's
cuddler.
a straight man, ain't he?
He's like,
So,
Toks is like, hi, my name's Toks. I love quality time and being cuddled.
that's it. Yeah.
it don't
Okay.
take much.
Toks is like, I'm easy.
It really don't take much.
And that's it.
Say some
yeah.
nice stuff. Give me a hug. You know.
He's like, hi. And then she becomes Jesus immediately.
Like, if you naturally know your partner's like
Love
affirmation or love
Yeah.
language signs, right? It's an easier way to win probably 40 to 60% of the fights.
Yeah, that's the first test. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, let's take this little
I had
test
to
here.
learn that shit. I was getting my ass beat. Right.
He was
so,
like,
yeah, I had to,
Dax
yeah.
was like, minus physical
Yeah.
touch.
Yeah,
What's
hey,
yours?
what's yours?
It's
Yeah, I
gonna
was
be
like,
physical
hey,
touch.
Come on. Exactly. I was marking like, don't listen to her. I know what she wants. So it's one of those things that, you learn over time. And I think as you get, for me, as I've gotten older, I've kind of built like the wisdom and the patience.
Right.
Be like, hey, this is what she needs. Hey, it helps. It kind of activates the person listening through fights.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, if you give this to the person, more than likely they'll listen to you, and they somehow remember it. That's it.
Yeah,
So,
I would agree. I would agree. What were some of the, and not to take us all the way back, but I just have to ask this question.
Mm-hmm.
What was some of the shortcomings and just challenges that you've dealt with, like trying to find the one? What in this industry that you're also in? Because I know it could be very surface.
I can tell you. I mean, you're answering the question right now. I'm not popular.
You're not?
No,
Damn.
I'm not. Yeah. So, look, if you're saying values and morals aren't popular, you know what I'm saying, and you're trying to explain that to somebody who's not on that I want to say level, but on that, not of that understanding, they have no basis. Then you're just kind of wasting your time.
Do you believe that you ran into a lot of
Absolutely. That's
surface
normal.
women in the
Yeah.
industry?
But at the same time, what I did wrong is the crowd that I kept on putting myself in. So for instance, hey, if I'm trying to find my wife in a club, I'm 50-50. The percentage is so low. If I'm trying, I really had to find out the things that I like to do.
Right.
For me, I like to work out. I had to find something that I really truthfully love to do. And that's if I love to create,
Right.
It made the conversation flow easily. Because that more than likely, you ever heard of someone say, we found love in
Hopeless
a
place?
hopeless place? That's
Okay.
a very true thing.
I
You know
thought
what
it was
I'm saying?
we
Like,
found love in the club.
that part too. That
Toks,
was very good too.
keep it together,
You know what
okay?
I'm saying?
It's
So,
a lyric
but
too.
it's-
We found.
Toks is like, I found love in a
And-
club, so
I think hopeless is the good word for it because it's like by that point, for me or most people, you're just like you've tried all of the wrong ways.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
We've all been there.
I've been in the clubs, I've been around, and I've done this and I've done that, and I was literally like, I found my wife in Liberia focusing on building a whole network. I had quit dating, all that stuff. I was like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm not even doing anything. I'm just going to focus on television and actually starting this program and doing what I need to do. And I met her. When I met her, I applied the same thing. Oh, I like the way she looked. Okay, cool. After that, we kept on talking because I wanted to see what she was made of, what was her
Right.
foundation,
That
what
core.
what that core was, and once I found that, I know that if we ever got in a really big or bad situation, these are certain skill sets or values that she had that she wouldn't compromise, and I
Right.
can apply that to my children.
I love that.
And I was there.
So that is not surface type of liking somebody. Like, oh, she's
No.
pretty.
She was bigger than the emotional moment. Yep.
I love that. I love that. And so that's wow, thanks for coming on.
I
That was
appreciate
awesome.
y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for the pineapple juice.
Don't tell people what we have in these cups
You know
now.
what I'm saying? I appreciate that.
We all didn't have pineapple juice. Some of us had a little something extra. But
Pineapples and
so
Tito's.
If somebody was interested in at least learning more about you, where would they be able to attain that information?
They can go to my Instagram, DA1702. I keep it simple. Ask questions,
Yeah.
There is nothing special about me other than what I'm going to leave my mark on in this world, and I'm still on my way there. So
Right.
Once I get there, y'all know.
Yes. Well, there's some pretty instrumental, like crucial and epic things that you've already been a part of that you shared.
Blessed. Yeah, I've been blessed to see a lot of things.
I love the humbleness, guys. This man right here is very humble. Okay, so
I'm not arrogance. I'm not at all.
not me, dog.
No. So I definitely think that being humble is one of the greatest weapons that we have.
Yes.
And it's something that even I myself, I always try to use that as a way to move forward, because it teaches you. I've seen the world literally off of being humble. I travel quite a bit, and I just.
You too.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Traveling.
Yeah, traveling.
Everybody just travel.
But I was afraid of planes.
Knew it.
What?
What? That's your fun fact. Hey, Dax, what's a fun fact about you?
I'm 6'1". It's not fun. No. Right, exactly, right. So it was. I don't like flying, but I've been places that the average person would be like, oh wow, and courtesy of my wife, because she's the traveler.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And we opened up, and she showed me some other things in life, and I was with it, and I grew through it, and she allowed me to ask questions and be myself.
I love it. She sounds very supportive.
She's
that is very important, and people we didn't really kind of touch on that,
Come on now.
But
Part
support in your relationship is so important.
You got to be okay to apply the right support.
And parallel support.
Yeah, that's it.
And it may look different for each person. Some person may need the words of affirmation and the giddy up, attaboy. Yeah. And somebody else may need maybe I don't know, financial support, or somebody else may need the right doors to go through, or advice. So
it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, once you find the right person, they're tailored so well for just you that you guys are equally yoked. They find you exactly, like, they'll know you're uncomfortable and be like, I got you, but without saying the words.
Yes. How to say you got me without saying you got me, boo.
And they'll apply it. And that's what I have in this woman. So
I love it.
And you gotta, that's a skill set, and they know it. And that's just it.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yes.
No, this was good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, Toks, where can these people find you?
That's at Toks Ogun everywhere, even the .com.
Hey.
That's TOKSOGUN.
Where can these people find us? I'm just curious.
You can find us at CWCTO.com.
Oh, look at you.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, we on the .com, okay?
Gotta get us a .com, you know what I mean?
Right?
And then you can also find us CWCTO1 on Instagram.
Yes.
And then CWCTO on YouTube.
Yes.
And y'all like and subscribe. That's where y'all watching right
Yes, please. And we're going to start putting some really fun, interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Content.
And we've been patient with y'all. So
yes, we've been patient.
Like
and
subscribe.
As we see y'all looking.
Right.
Okay, we see every last one of you. So shout out to Trav in the back for making sure our vocals and our visuals are doing fantastic. You can find him on Instagram at TheCool1. You can find me, Cocktails with Carly, at cocktailswithcarly_ on Instagram. Shout out to our lovelies in the back. Thanks for coming and supporting
Appreciate
all the time. And we appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see y'all next week. Bye.